The weather in Iowa has been beautiful these last few days, and I thought the best way to enjoy the last few weeks of fall would be to make some classic fall treats. This week I made apple pie filling and canned it, and I also made this beautiful apple tart. All of the apples in this video are from my Oma's house or from my boyfriend's parents, and they are hand-picked with love. And if you're interested in seeing how I canned this apple pie filling and how I baked this tart, please keep on watching. We have a huge bowl of apple slices and lemon water here. I set aside about 4 apples worth of slices for our apple tart. I'm gonna put these in the fridge until it's time to make our apple pie filling. For our apple tart, we want very thin slices, so I'm gonna take these and slice them in half very carefully. I'm using the Jonathan apples from my Oma's house for the tart. I think the red color of the skin is going to make for a beautiful pastry. All right, we are about to prep our apple slices for our tart. First, I am going to add some sugar. We need 5 tablespoons of light brown sugar. 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. The recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, but I'm gonna add 2 because I love cinnamon. And I think cinnamon and apple is one of the best combos. This recipe also calls for ginger, but I'm not the biggest ginger fan. So I'm gonna add a teaspoon of nutmeg instead. We need 1/8 a teaspoon of salt, 1/2 a teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. All right, I'm gonna give everything in here a gentle toss. Get it nice and coated. Oops. It smells just like you can imagine. Like the most delicious fall scented candle ever. I hope no one is too offended, but I will be using a store-bought pie crust today. I just don't feel I have the skill level to make a perfect pie crust on the first try. So we will be using this perfectly adequate and just fine pie crust from the store. I'm gonna get our apples arranged inside and we'll get this beauty in the oven. So now we're gonna fold our edges up like this, and about every 2 inches or so, tuck under to form this kind of crimped look. So it's kind of like a pouch for our apple slices. It's almost like a free-form pie or an open face pie. It's so cute and perfect. I love how it looks. This might be the prettiest thing I've ever made. I'm so excited about how this looks. But we are gonna put this in the fridge to chill, and then I will make an egg wash to brush over the top of our dough, and we'll get this in the oven. Unfortunately, I don't have a pastry brush, so I'm going to take a paper towel and soak it in our egg solution and gently rub this over the top of our pastry. Now I'm just going to spoon some of our excess sauce over the top here. Perfect. We're gonna sprinkle the entire thing with sugar and then get it in the oven. Our tart is in the oven and it's gonna bake for about 50 minutes. I'm super excited to try it and the apartment already smells so good. So now it's time to start working on our canning project. We're gonna be making apples for apple pie filling. So I'm gonna start making the syrup now. We're gonna be using 2 different kinds of apples for our apple pie filling. The red apple that I'm peeling right now is from my Oma's farm. She has an apple tree and a pear tree, and I helped her pick a few last time I went to see her. This variety is from my boyfriend's parents. Their farm is near an orchard, and they go to that orchard every year and pick apples, grapes, and berries. And they sent us home with quite a few of these as well. I love knowing where this fruit came from, and it makes me feel more connected to whatever I'm making with it, knowing that my loved one either picked it or grew it themselves, and I just think that makes it even more special. Now that we have our apple slices peeled and sliced, I have them back in the lemon water solution. I'm gonna put these in the fridge to keep them chilled, and I'm gonna get to work on the syrup. The recipe for our canned apple pie filling is in the Ball Preserving book. It's on page 17, and I will link this down below so you guys can follow along. In this pan, we have 1 cup of water, half a cup of sugar, and a splash of lemon juice. I cut the recipe in half because I didn't have as many apples as the original ball recipe called for. So we're gonna get this mixture to a boil and then we'll add our slices. Give these a good stir. Get them coated in that syrup. Oh, there's a seed in there. Now we need to get this back to a boil, and we will let it boil for about 5 minutes, and we'll get it in our jars. Alright, we are going to ladle our apple slices into our hot jars. We're going to leave a 1/2 inch of headspace with our apple slices. I did not make enough syrup, so I'm going to quickly make some more just to get our jars to 1/2 inch of headspace full of syrup. Alright, I've got my extra syrup made up now. So I'm just going to ladle this in until we get to 1/2 inch of headspace. You know what? I made a mistake. I totally forgot to wipe the rims off of these jars before I put the lids on. And that would be a big problem because these things are covered in syrup and they're extremely sticky right now. So I'm gonna wipe the rims off of these with a wet paper towel and vinegar, and then we will put our lids back on. Our tart is out of the oven. I'm gonna make an apricot jam drizzle to go on top of this. It's smelling amazing. We ended up with 5 pints of apple pie filling. All of them had successful seals, so I'm super happy about that. I was a little worried. The jars were so sticky and I tried my best to wipe all the excess syrup off the lids, but I was a little concerned that they wouldn't seal, but all of them have sealed, so that is a huge relief. So I am going to store some of these and then give a couple to friends. and we have a beautiful apple tart to go along with our apple pie filling. And I am going to do a taste test of this and show you what it looks like on the inside when I cut it and how it tastes. I think it turned out beautifully just on appearance alone. The only critique I have of myself so far is that I should have pinched the edges of the dough after I folded them over, because I did have some leakage when it came out of the oven. But other than that, it looks beautiful. So I am going to cut this up and let you know how it tastes. I am super excited to try this. It almost looks like a piece of apple pizza. That's kind of what it reminds me of anyway. But I'm gonna give this a taste. It tastes just like I thought it would. It's so good. This dessert is wonderful. If you have a friend or family member that has a birthday in the fall, I would definitely recommend making this for them, or it would be perfect at Thanksgiving to share with your family. It is so good, and I'm sure it's even better with homemade pie crust, so next time I might try that instead. But I am loving this, and I will link the recipe down below so that you can follow it if you want to make it as well. I am very thrilled with this. I'm trying to get better at baking. Typically I cook. I think working on my baking skills this winter will be a fun project. If you want to see more baking from me, go ahead and comment below what you would like to see me make. I'm thinking about making sourdough bread this winter, so let me know what you think of that idea. I had a lot of fun processing these apples today, and I appreciate you watching. I hope they have a great week, and I will see you on the next one.